What's up guys, my name is Ace, and welcome back to Live Lessons with Ace. This is a series just in case you're new to the channel. I haven't done it for quite a long time, but I'm getting back into it today. This is a series where I play live, and I share tips and advice focusing on one particular aspect of the game. I try to demonstrate it as well as I possibly can while playing live. I feel like this is a lot more helpful, or at least it gives you a different perspective than a lot of the more highly edited videos, because you can actually see what's going on in game, what's going on in my head in the game, and I find that to be a very, very useful tool. In today's episode, we're going to be focusing on spawn prediction in Team Deathmatch. I get so many questions about this, so I decided I would finally show off how I predict spawns in Team Deathmatch. Alright guys, here we go. We got Precinct, and Precinct's got a few pockets of spawns. Let's use the Titan here, just because I don't really see people using the Titan too often, and I like the Titan. There's a few pockets of spawns on this map to be aware of with Team Deathmatch, and once you're aware of the main pockets of spawn on each of the maps, you are going to get a better understanding. Now, normally I wouldn't take this route, but I want to take this over here to show you first pocket of spawns right in here. This is a very, very common spawn point. Also, sometimes you'll get a pocket of spawn mid-game. It'll be like the standard spawn back here. There is a less likely spawn in Team Deathmatch over here. And then we've got a back alley spawn that way. We've got the standard back spawn over there. And that's pretty much it. Those are all the common spawn points on this map. That's not to say that you'll never spawn anywhere else. See there, I spawned in this pocket right here. And if I'm spawning in this pocket, that means they're spawning back alley almost definitely. But yeah, like I was saying, I could spawn right in the middle building at some point. That's extremely rare, and that only happens if every other primary spawn point or spawn pocket is taken. But the main thing to notice is always pay attention to your minimap. Your minimap is always key for spawn prediction. I'm sure most people already knew that, but it is something to always be aware of here. Always watch not only where your enemies are popping up on the minimap, a huge part of spawn prediction comes to watching where your teammates spawn. So I just was watching my minimap, I saw a teammate spawn back alley. That means they're pushing really hard this way. Now, I know there were a few enemy dots over here on the minimap as well, but it shows, even if I didn't see those dots, I would have been turning around right there because I saw my teammate spawn back alley. That means they're going to be spawning up in this pocket, but now I push them, and things could get a little bit weird here. I don't know where my teammates are, but it looks like I might have them back alley, and therefore now they're going to start pushing to those weird secondary spawns, and this is why you often don't want to push directly into a spawn pocket. So now things have been settled back a little bit. They're likely going to spawn here or towards the back side of the map over there. Just looking at my teammates' positioning, they're not going to spawn really close to my teammates unless it's absolutely the only spawn that they can have is near a teammate. And that's what happens when you get those spawns pushing quite hard. So you don't typically want to push too hard, but I mean, it all depends on your playstyle and how confident you are in the game. Right now, they're just getting the standard back spawns here. You can see their dots on the minimap. You can tell pretty easily where they're spawning. Nothing too out of the ordinary at the moment. So it's kind of just in its default state right now until people start pushing around the map and things get a little bit weird. So at this point, you just kind of play. That's their half of the map. This is our half of the map. We can kind of push into each other's halves of the map. And right now, spawns are kind of irrelevant. I'm going to spawn probably gas station area. Oh, actually right in back alley. I thought I was going to spawn over there. But that actually means we have guys that are pushing that direction over there. That's another thing that I don't see people doing. When you spawn yourself after you die, that can be a good indicator of where your enemies are. So they're spawning all in that first spawn that I showed you behind those buildings up those stairs. They're spawning in that pocket at the moment until our teammates start pushing that way. And you can tell that just from where you spawn when you respawn after you die. And same thing goes with your teammates, like I was saying. So I'm going to put a little bit of pressure here. So I'm blocking this off, but they're still going to be spawning in this direction. I don't know if anyone's going to push out this way. They're likely going to push more towards my teammates, but they were spawning in this pocket until I push up right around here. I have now potentially pushed them back to those spawns over there. They still can spawn in here though, so you just got to be aware of that. Even when I'm in this position, I'm sometimes close enough to push this spawn out, but oftentimes they will still spawn there. It gets a little sticky sometimes. I've actually noticed this especially lately. I feel like they may have tweaked something. In Team Deathmatch, the spawns get a little bit less flippy, or have been a little bit less flippy lately, based on my experience. So now they've got the back alley spawn, and basically the tables have turned now. So as I push to this side of the map, oh, that's a gravity vortex thing. Oh no, he actually hit me with it. Nice shot, dude. Nice shot. And yeah, as you can see, now my team, this is our main spawn. This is a nice safe area for us to spawn in. It's where we're going to spawn most of the time. And enemies are going to be spawning on that back alley side. Very, very straightforward on this map, at least. I do realize that some maps are different than others. And therefore, like, this might not be the... Like, this episode might not apply to every one of the maps. But it kind of gives that little bit of a mindset, at least. I see they're trying to flank around this way. And also, I've got a teammate pushing that way. If he pushes hard enough into back alley, he's going to flip those spawns out behind me. I don't want to really challenge that. He's got the height advantage there. So far, he hasn't pushed quite hard enough to get a full spawn flip in right now. So they're still spawning back alley. Oh, nope, we just spawned back alley. So now we flipped them. Now they're spawning over here. Very, very simple on this map. You just go back and forth between those spawns. Those are going to be your primary spawns throughout the game. A lot of times in previous Call of Duty games, your primary spawns would be the spawns that you spawn at the beginning of the game. This one's a little bit different. Like I was saying, it's this back corner. There's likely another one there, but then another guy pushed through here. So teammates pushing to block that off. Now they're back alley again. And they could also be over here in this situation. If you look at my teammates' positioning, I'm trying to aim like through the building over by that cat statue. That is another potential spawn at the moment, just because I was noticing I had some teammates pushed a little bit towards back alley. And this was just the biggest open pocket. And sometimes that's all it really takes in Team Deathmatch. That's not a map-specific thing. That is just a very general spawn. I don't want to say rule, maybe rule of thumb. It's not like a set-in-stone rule. The biggest pocket on your mini-map where there's no teammates is most likely where the enemies are going to be spawning, but there are exceptions, and you do have to use your map knowledge a little bit as well, and just realize where those different pockets are. So I hope that shed some light, at least on Precinct, for a little bit of spawn knowledge for you guys. I have had a lot of people asking me about spawn guides. For those of you guys that haven't been around my channel for super long, past few years I've been doing a spawn guide series where I show you guys all the spawn points and explain their behavior on every one of the maps for several different game modes. The issue with that, I've had some people asking for it and they really want to see it because it's such valuable knowledge. That series takes a ton of time and effort to put together. It takes weeks to get one episode together often. And last year I noticed the views, it just wasn't getting the views that a live commentary would get. So that is the reason I haven't been doing spawn guides this year. So I'm sorry for those guys that are expecting that. If you'd like, I'll do more live commentaries like this, and I'll just keep going through different maps. Like as I find a map I haven't covered yet, I can keep doing that if you would like. But I'm not going to be doing the super detailed spawn analysis that I have been doing in the previous year. So I hope you guys can understand that. This is my full-time job, and I have to be using my time wisely. And spending all that time on videos that aren't really going to be paying off for me, it just doesn't make sense because, I mean, I'm not a massive YouTuber that's making millions of dollars. I'm getting by, so that's why I'm not doing the Spawn Guide series this year. I hope you guys can understand that, and I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Please let me know if you want me to continue this, maybe with other game modes or with just different maps with also Team Deathmatch. Let me know in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I'll talk to you guys next time.